Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Anna Vogel. I am from Winnow. We are a 6-year-old startup. We started in London, and June of 2018, we opened offices in the United States, and we are getting started up here now. So we're a little over a year old in the United States. Going to present what we do, how we're changing things, how we're fighting food waste every day, and how we're changing the future of the kitchen. So in commercial kitchens, it is very hard to track food waste, understanding what's going on. Chefs have huge demands on them, getting the right food, getting the right people, getting the right, turnover. Everything's going on, increased pricing, keeping prices low. They have demands on them all day long. Looking in the trash, understanding their food waste is not their priority, nor should it be. This is the last thing that they should have to worry about. But there's an opportunity cost in your food waste. What goes in your trash is money wasted. There is the time the money that was spent buying that food. There was the money that was spent on labor, cooking, prepping it, serving it, and then taking it to the trash. That's an opportunity cost where we can come in, help you save money, and reduce your food waste. Data shows that food waste is typically between 4% and 13% of food costs. So an average commercial kitchen, an average university size, is spending between $4 million and $6 million in food costs every year. So take just 13% of that, and that's what's going in the trash. That's a huge opportunity to save money. The biggest savings opportunity lies in overproduction. This is food that is cooked, prepped, set out, and then due to people not eating it because they don't want it, or it's been out for so many hours, and then by food code it has to come back. End of service, just making things big and beautiful. That is the largest piece of food waste, which is 5 to 15% of your food waste. Many kitchens don't measure food. We go into kitchens worldwide. We're in over 1,000 kitchens worldwide, and we approach them and we hear everyone say, no, we don't waste food. We run a really good operation. We take all of our waste and we rework it. The croissants that we put out today are bread pudding tomorrow, which is true. They do a great job. Many kitchens do a great job. They're using pen and paper to analyze their food waste. They're saying that most chefs will say it's all plate waste. It's all what the consumer's doing and throwing away, taking too much. They're good and they're efficient. But we all know that's not exactly true. Food waste happens because it's hard to measure. It's hard to measure when you have a team of 20 to 30 people. Everyone's doing their job. The chef is producing good food. He's not looking at what's going in the trash. Traditional tracking methods fail. Traditional tracking methods of the buffet runner weighs the food manually, writes it down on a piece of paper, and then gives it to the chef at the end of the day with a list of items. That's really hard to analyze and get all that data together. So we introduce artificial intelligence. This is our system. So in this system, we have a tablet, we have a camera underneath with a light, and then our artificial intelligence built inside of it. And with that, we have a scale that the trash can sits on. And as the kitchen staff throws items into the trash, the scale will detect a weight difference, will note that weight, and then they will take a picture of what's gone in, and it'll identify it as cucumbers. And then they'll throw in the next picture, and the artificial intelligence will identify it as fish bites. So with that, they get the weight of what was thrown away, they get the item of what it was, and the costs are also loaded on us. So they have French fries. It was 2 pounds, it cost $3. All of this data is harvested every night, comes up, and then comes down into reporting for the chef to see what was thrown out the day before so that they can make immediate reductions in production for the next day. So they saw that 6 pounds of eggs were thrown out. Yesterday, the day before, last Wednesday, they stopped making 6 extra pounds of eggs. So this example just shows how sometimes it's really hard to identify what goes into a trash can. I look at this, I see English muffins, but it's actually omelets. So the artificial intelligence knows better than me. So here's an example of the daily report that they receive to take the immediate action. It shows the value of what was wasted, the equivalent meals that were wasted, the weight, the CO2 emissions, and then it also shows by time of day, it shows the top areas, and it shows the top items. This allows the chef to really concentrate on an area. If they want to concentrate on breakfast, lunch, snacks, or they can look at specific items such as the top items of potatoes, bananas, pancakes. We also show how they're tracking, so potatoes are up and bananas are up. Pancakes are the third food item that is wasted, but it's going down. So it looks like that they're taking action to reduce pancakes. So they also receive weekly reports that show overall weekly reports and show a target where they want to get to so that they can really maintain without those goals and targets. It's just data. We also can do cross-site reports for, such as a cruise ship. They have a lot of galleys, they have a lot of kitchens. The chef wants to look at all of them at one time, so we'll do cross-site reports also. And then we also have an online dashboard to track success. This can pull in kind of information you want, do things like that. So, like I said, we are in about 1,000 kitchens right now worldwide. We're in over 40 countries. Our specialty and where we go to is corporate catering, which is considered company kitchens, universities, and in other places like what Compass Group does, what Sodexo does. Those are some of our partners. We also go into cruise ships. We specialize in grocery stores and quick service restaurants, and then hotels and resorts. Anywhere you see a big buffet, anywhere that's doing a lot of production that needs to be measured. So that's our system. We're using artificial intelligence to reduce food waste. We all know that this is a very large problem that we're trying to tackle. It also is a great benefit because it also saves these companies a lot of money, which is also just a win-win. Saves the environment, saves money, saves labor, saves landfill costs. So we are currently getting our first site in St. Louis. We are going into Ameristar Casino. That will be installed in the end of October is what we are planning to do. So that's exciting to have a local company that's using our product right now. So I would love to come back and share the results of what's going on. Typically we save about 40% of what they were putting in the trash in about 3-4 months. So that's Winnow.
Per usual, please wait for the microphone for your questions. And James, you'd like to start?
Just put it on. I'm hoping it works for you. So Ameristar is part of 3 casinos in the area. So if it works at Ameristar, they'll do it at the other 2 casinos?
That's, of course, always the plan. So yes, Ameristar is part of Boyd Gaming right now, and they had to get approval from Boyd Gaming headquarters to do the pilot. We'll share the pilot with them, and then yes, hopefully that's the goal, is always to go and expand. We're only starting with 2 systems in Boyd, so we also believe there's a lot more opportunity at that casino too. So yes, we're hoping that this is just the first step, and next year we'll be expanding into more.
So what's the average that you can save a buffet on average? What do you expect to save?
At Ameristar, they're a very large buffet, so we expect to save between probably, I would say 50 to 70% of their food waste. They're doing a great job now because they are composting, so they're already separating their food waste, and they already know that existing weight. We will go in and do a baseline to understand it, but but we are expecting to save at least 50%. 50% is always, I hate to say it, our easy goal to do, but 50% is easy to achieve once you start weighing. And then, so we'll get to 50%, and then the chefs will start getting creative on how they can adjust their buffets. So the biggest thing is that we want to be invisible to the consumer. You know, no consumer wants to go up and see an empty buffet. They want to see it fresh and full, and because everyone wants it. No one wants to take that last piece of cake. So chefs start getting very clever on how to make things look fresh and full and ready to eat, but still cutting down. We have a lot of resorts in Dubai, and they've gotten really clever, and we have a whole list of best practices that we share with everyone on how you can help reduce your food display but still make it look very enticing.
So great presentation and product. I have a question about your dashboard. So how do you work with your clients, so like a cruise ship or a big convention center, say, that, has different loads of people coming in the future. So can your dashboard integrate with their kind of planned future loads and help them figure out, how much to cut back or how much more on pancakes to produce based on who's going to be showing up that day or next week?
We are just beginning that because because we do weekly, and we're in a cruise line, and most of their ships cruises are 10 days. So yes, we are adjusting to that and your Norwegian cruise and your Caribbean cruise is a completely different customer base, eating different things. And yes, we are just starting that. That's a great question. Thanks.
More questions? All right. Well, I've got one first. Okay, get you guys. All right. How exactly do you make your money?
We make our money through a monthly fee. So
based on just a flat fee, or based on how much you save them, or?
No, it's a flat fee for the life of the product, for the life while they're in there, while we are live in their site. It is a monthly fee. We have 3 levels of fees, and we're actually expanding on that depending on the size that you are, depending on how big your menu is, because that's a lot more labor for us. But it's a monthly fee, and it typically pays off in 6 to 9 months, and then it's just ongoing from there. Like I said, we are adjusting that to make it a smaller fee after they've gotten all their big wins. We did have a site 2 years ago, well, we did an experiment on 5 sites 2 years ago. We are a large partner with IKEA in Europe, so we asked to experiment on them all the time. We pulled out at 5 different sites, we pulled out our system to see if practices had worked, and they don't need us anymore. And within 3 weeks, the waste went back to the original levels, just because what gets measured gets managed. What gets, it's just that constant understanding of what's going on. Turnover is always a big deal. So it did really help us, but 6 years old, we're still learning how to make that model for longevity happen. So we are adjusting fees, and this is a major project that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting. That's really good that you did that, because that's exactly what someone will do is like, well, we'll get the low-hanging fruit and then see you later.
I'll be honest, when I was interviewing for the job, I was just like, how much longevity can this have?
How should you price this? Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a simple question. Is it just for the buffet model?
It's for anything considered overproduction. So buffets are the bread and butter. That works really easy because they're prepping an entire fleet of things. Made to order, there's an opportunity, definitely, that we can work. If we're going into, a local St. Louis restaurant that makes to order, and they have a 50-seat restaurant, we will not. The model would not pay off, and we would advise against it.
Hi, can you talk a little bit about your onboarding model and what level of human effort is needed before the artificial intelligence can take over? How many months, how many people?
That's a great question. So we receive their menu specifically for the site with their costs and their serving size. So we have all of that. And we say we need 300 pitchers of each item before the artificial intelligence kicks in, and we'll know that that was a tomato, know that was the lasagna, know that that was, you know, the specific items. However, but that goes across every system we have. So today coming in, our system knows what French fries are, our system knows what peas are. We're in a lot of IKEA, so our system knows what meatballs are. So we have that. So typically we will say 3 to 6 months, you should be up and running with the artificial intelligence. But yes, we have a huge team of people digging through photos every day saying, yes, that's peas, yes, that's peas, yes, that's peas. It is, yeah, an enormous team. They're based in Romania.
So that's mostly online versus in-store, you know? You
Yes.
send a lot of people to
The in-store, we have, so our existing model today before the artificial intelligence went in, the staff would take it, dump the food, and in 3 taps they would identify the food. So they would say it was breakfast, they would tap that button, they would say it's hot breakfast, they would tap that button, and then the list of food would come out. So it would be pancakes, eggs, bacon, and they would tap eggs. So 3 to 6 months, they're doing that interaction. And then our data team is validating that, and then as the system becomes more than 75% sure, then it'll come and say, okay, I think it's these 5 items, confirm with that with me. And then when it's 90% sure, all they have to do is walk away.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Great presentation. Can you describe the unit, just how it looks, starting from the scale all the way to the iPad looking thing?
I'm gonna show you the picture of it,
Sure.
because that's the best part of it. So in this picture, you can see there's a scale sitting down there. It's a 20 by 20 inch scale. So most 64 inch or 64 gallon brute trash cans will work on it. No big deal with that. Very basic stainless steel scale. And then this is what the system looks like. It's about 24 inches across, and it sits out about 9 inches, so it's a good size, but we need to get it out so it's over the trash can, so the camera's over the trash can, so that I can have that nice, good center view of it. Yeah, it's all stainless steel, which helps for food code, so it can be wiped down, it can be hosed down, everything's adjusted for that. You know, we've learned a lot over the last 6 years. We've taken out all the grooves and everything like that, so it will go for United States Public Health. It'll pass that, because our last version, I will be honest, would not pass it. So we got it all up to date before we had to move into the United States.
Unless I blanked out on my question. Give me a second. I may have missed it in your presentation. Does it break down by ingredient? Could that help managers in their ordering of food? I once worked at a restaurant in which a manager was almost labeled a deity because he had a skill for knowing what to order next week. And I know they laboriously worry about order.
So we take the photo as the meal served. So as lasagna, as spaghetti, as bacon. If there's a spoilage issue or a cooler breaks down, we do have all of their ingredients. So if they have to throw away, 20 pounds of raw chicken, it will say it's 20 pounds of raw chicken as opposed to chicken off the buffet. So it'll identify those ingredients when those ingredients are thrown in. But we do not, as of right now, we do not connect lasagna to all of these ingredients that they would have to buy. We're not there yet. But our roadmap is to connect our system to the inventory systems that most restaurants are using, that it would say, you're getting low on lasagna and all of their ingredients. That's a roadmap issue for us that we're working on.
Great presentation. With my experience in the food and beverage industry, I could have used this as a manager. I work at Frito-Lay, and so we made chips. So whether it's Cheetos, potato chips, Fritos, Doritos, we made it all. And unfortunately, we have a lot of waste, so we had a lot of waste. But the one thing that you really couldn't quantify at the end of the shift or at the end of the day is the waste. right? Because you got bags, you got floor trash, you got a lot of stuff. How I envision this, and I'm not sure if you guys thought about this commercial use and going to food manufacturers and see how you guys fit in. I think this is a smart system. It'll help them upstream, prepare, speed up, slow down, inventory. These are all things that we would think these big, large companies would have in place, but they necessarily don't, or they're antiquated and they want to spend the money. But this automatically, in my opinion, justifies the cost and will go in as a CAR. So I would ask that you and your team just take a hard look at using this for commercial use and see how you guys can benefit a corporate entity from at that level.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I worked for a grocery store chain for 11 years, and it was perceived that our distribution didn't have any waste. Yeah, they're very efficient, and they did a great job, but they moved it in before they had to throw it away. But no, there's still waste. And in manufacturing, same thing. Right now, we see the largest opportunity in restaurants. I know we have growth opportunities, including everywhere. Even there's a lot of places that there's cruise ships that break a lot of plates, and they want to start measuring broken plates and other items. Yeah, cruise ships are amazing. Their waste is amazing. Yeah, I got to be in dry dock with one of them and see everything get cleared out of the cruise ship and just thrown away. Mattresses, beds, TVs. And then, and then just in the working cruise ship, I got to be on one and just be in the galleys and just see, broken glasses, broken plates. I mean, everything you can think of. I mean, it's a moving town with 3,000 people on it. So yeah, some things are going to happen all the time. So yeah, everyone, once they start measuring their food waste, they want to start measuring everything. It's great right now where we only encourage the food waste.
Hello, yeah, great presentation. I just have a few questions. We'll try and knock them out. Kind of similar to his question, are you aligning your pitches like with companies that are working on ESG goals, more environmental, sustainability goals, and then also like companies that are aligning with the UN sustainability goals? Are you aligning your company with that as well?
If a company has sustainability goals, yes, we want to reach out. We want to help them get those goals, of course. Yeah, it's just a great partnership.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship with Hilton, and Hilton has announced a lot of sustainability goals. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We love that.
To align with the zero waste section of all those goals, and I think you guys are pretty much I haven't seen really any company that's really dealing with this particular issue. And then that leads me to my second question. With your artificial intelligence, can you talk a little bit about the technology stack with that? So I see image recognition. Is there anything else that makes it stand out with your technology?
I'm not a technology person.
Okay.
I wish I could answer that intelligently, but my job is to go in, train the staff. There is a whole team in Romania and a whole team in London working on that. And we have people quote that they're like, it's magic. I'm like, yes, that's what it is.
Then my next question is, and you may not be able to answer this, but so yeah, you guys are compiling a lot of data with image recognition of food. Have you guys thought about just where that data will end up? Are we thinking about selling that data, or have you guys had that conversation along utilizing that data lake of hey, you have all this image, you have all these images, and you guys know how to recognize images. You guys just keep that? Have you had any ideas around the data?
I'm not sure. Can I ask who would we sell it to? This is really interesting.
Maybe other could just be other people in the space of food recognition that are creating stuff. Maybe for actually smaller restaurants, because you're not dealing with smaller restaurants. So it could be like a company that's stressing off that needs that type of that data. Yeah, there's just different things.
As a 6-year-old company, we're definitely interested in sharing and learning and helping others grow, especially in food waste and waste reduction. We want to be partners with everyone we can.
Yeah.
So I know if there's an opportunity, someone's talking. Fortunately, again, being based in London, a lot goes on over there. There's also a lot of different laws about reducing waste, and they have a lot of mandates going on, so there's a lot of people working on this in Europe.
Yeah, I see that as like the long-term value proposition of being able to have a database full of images where you're already able to recognize those different types of food. So,
It's good to know. Just to let you know, we do have 2 to 3 competitors. 2 are very, very small startups that have just started in the last year, and they're both in the United States. And then our other competitor is, they're 15 years old. They're based out of Portland, and they have about the same size of as many kitchens that we're in too. And obviously, being in the United States, they have a lot more U.S. locations. Not so much of the European presence as we do, of course, but we're about the same size of them. So there is another direct competitor with us. It's a similar. They're not using artificial intelligence yet. I'm expecting for it to happen soon.
So you're in 1,000 kitchens, is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So without disclosing anything that's too confidential, what has been some of your biggest learnings or surprises so far?
So we like to talk about the cruise ships because they are truly amazing of what they're doing. 2 years ago, we went into our first cruise ship, and after 3 months, we were saving over 1 ton of food per day in the one cruise ship. So there was a huge opportunity. We're now in every cruise ship on, it's part of Carnival, but it's mostly Asia. The other thing though with learning on cruise ship is being on the ocean. The ocean is waves, doesn't matter how big your ship is, the scale is affected by the waves. So we had to completely redesign our scale. We had to redesign our scale for other reasons, just for food code, because they have very strict food code. Being in a contained environment, they're very strict about that. So it's been really interesting. Cruise ships also don't have Wi-Fi and data readily available, so getting those daily things, we had to really figure that out too. We were about 3 years old, and then we had to completely redesign and rebrand and rebuild to get on a cruise ship. But we knew it was too big of an opportunity not to. And then it's also really fun to see how different hotels and resorts take on different opportunities. We had one resort that got rid of all of their plates and bought smaller plates, because smaller plates is smaller portions. We had another resort that got rid of all their plates and bought heavier plates, because perception-wise, it just feels heavier. We had another resort get rid of all their plates and buy red plates. Apparently people eat less off red plates. Yeah, it's amazing when you get the resort behind you and they'll try all these crazy things, and we have it all tracked. We never go in and tell a chef, stop making this, did you think of this? It's them. Every site's different, but we do have a list of best practices that we like to share. So that's fun just to see what people are doing. We had another hotel that when they moved the sliced cheese to the end of the buffet, they saved 90% of their cheese. The perception was everyone was starting and they were just taking cheese, and they didn't realize all the other good stuff at the end. So when they put it at the end, everyone's like, I don't need cheese. So just even rearranging a buffet can really help reduce the waste, even if you're not cutting back on production or making smaller serving sizes.
I have a question in regards to the unit itself. So from an installation standpoint and from a service standpoint, if there's any issues with it, I assume you're trying to do as much remotely as possible. But is there a service level agreement? How are you guys going about any sort of breakage on the unit?
So breakage on the unit with the with the monthly fee, if the unit breaks, no matter what the issue is, one will get sent back out to you within 24 to 48 hours. We have,
And they're able to install it themselves?
they install themselves. Every site installs themselves. I go out and I train and I make sure everything's connected. Most places are rented. They're renting the kitchen, so it is a university. They're Compass, so University of Missouri is the facilities. Compass is renting the space. So to make all of that happen, we have to have the kitchen assign everything, get IT called, get facilities called. So it's their responsibility, but it is truly, there's a bracket and the unit slides on the bracket, and then they need to hook up to IT and plug in.
And then, second question, completely different. What's your typical sales cycle right now, start to finish, do you know?
I'm in operations, not in sales, so define sales cycle, like, oh, how long it takes to get us something signed? I would say 6 to 9 months. Yeah.
All right, any more questions? All right, well, we'll end with our typical one. What can the community do for you, AKA why are you here?
I'm here because we're just getting started in the United States, as you all know. We are technically based out of Iowa City, Iowa. I have a very generous boss that lets me work from home a lot, so my hometown is St. Louis. My biggest is talk about us. It's just word of mouth is everything. We are really excited. We won a grant from Kroger to install in 10 sites around the United States. Ameristar is one of them that we're going into. So it's just great news to talk about, that we're doing things and we're trying to be a part of the community as much as we can. So just, if you see the opportunity, just say our name.
All right, thank you very much.